Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Harris awakens, Everett hypnotized, Wendy freaks out. Days of Our Lives reveal that Harris Michaels eventually awakens. Will he ID his shooter? Everett Lynch seeks Marlena Evans' help. Will Everett flash back his history? Wendy Shin decides this hijacking thing just isn't delightful presently. Will freaking out do Wendy any good? Stephen DiMera tried to kill Harris Michaels. Days of Our Lives reveal that Harris enhancement comes with mixed feelings. Rafe Hernandez is glad that Harris is awake and hopes that he'll expose his shooter. Still, Rafe also knows that Harris could be in further peril now that he's awake. Rafe clearly needs to make sure his dirty Bobby doesn't end up watching over him. Ava Vitali is thrilled that Harris is awake and she hopes he'll make a recovery. Unfortunately, that won't be if Stephen DiMera has his way. Clyde Weston has formerly given Stephen orders to finish Harris off. Can Ava manage to save the man she loves? DOL Everett Lynch undergoes hypnotism. Indeed, though Everett claims that he was no way Bobby Stein, he has clearly ignored coming face to face with Jada Hunter since he has been in Salem. Steve Johnson has proven the evidence that Everett and Bobby are one and the same. Jada has also proven that with matching fingerprints as well. DOL Harris awakens, Everett hypnotized, Wendy freaks out. Everett was in a coma and woke up with some memory gaps. Everett swears was no way Bobby, but how does he know this when he doesn't flash back all of his history? Can Marlena work her magic and help Everett to sort out the verity? Does Everett formerly know the verity and just want to forget that he was married to Jada and their once Days of Our Lives? Wendy Shin freaks out. Wendy and Trip Johnson have been locked up for some time. Wendy and Trip have no possibility of escape. Wendy is going stir-crazy in this vessel. Wendy knows that they will drown if anyone decides to fill it up with water. All of these scripts keep playing in her head. Will Wendy's worst fears come true? Steve is on the case and determined to find Wendy and his son. Still, Steve needs to figure out who the dirty Bobby is and further before he can get close to Trip and Wendy. Will Steve get to these two on time? Will Ava be the bone who ends up saving them after all? Awakening, rehashing the history, fear sets in. Days of Our Lives indicate some major plot twists on the horizon as the week in Salem kicks off. Days of Our Lives highlights someone has an awakening, while another rehashes his history, and fear sets for someone in a dire situation. What kind of drama is set to unfold during Monday's show? Time to dive right in. Days of Our Lives Harris Michaels wakes up. Days spoilers for Monday, February 26th hint that Harris Michaels will wake up from his coma, which is good news. Still, added teasers suggest that as soon as he does, he'll be questioned by Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring. Days of Our Lives awakening, rehashing the history, fear sets in. Meanwhile, it seems like while some people will be over the moon with joy that Harris has woken up, and others will be bothered about what he remembers and what he tells Rafe. Will Stephen DiMera be one of those individualities shaking in his thrills? Suckers will have to tune in to find out. Days Everett Lynch addresses about his history across city, reveal that Everett Lynch will have a meeting with Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, to talk about his history. Also read, Days of Our Lives spoilers then's what suckers really suppose about Lonnie and Eli's return. Added teasers note that Stephanie Johnson will be in and around the area when he does. Is Everett lying where the Bobby situation is concerned, or does he have no memory of his history with Jada Hunter? Days of Our Lives Wendy Shin panics incipiently. Days show indicate that Wendy Shin will have a fear attack while being held interned. Thankfully, Trip Johnson is by her side to help her through effects. It would be hard not to freak out at this point in their prison, but at least Wendy and Trip are together in all this. Will Steve Johnson find them in time? Will Clyde Weston's reign of terror ever end? Holly awakens, Eli and Lonnie return, Trip and Wendy's fate. Steve confesses. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of February 26th are in. Holly Jonas wakes up from the coma. Eli Grant and Lonnie Price Grant return to Salem. Days of Our Lives spoilers highlights Ava Vitali gets news about Trip Johnson and Wendy Shin. Plus, Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols, eventually confesses the verity to Constantine Meliones. Days of Our Lives Holly Jonas Awakens DOL spoilers for the week of February 26 reveal that Holly eventually wakes up from her coma. Still, there will be a twist. Days of Our Lives Holly awakens, Eli and Lonnie return, Trip and Wendy's fate, Steve confesses unfortunately for Tate Black, Holly doesn't have any indication why she was in a coma. That means Holly mustn't flash back, which will be disappointing news for Tate. In a recent occasion, Tate was counting on Holly waking up to clear him of any wrongdoing. While Holly does wake up, she makes a demand of EJ DiMera and Nicole Walker DiMera. Holly demands EJ and Nicole tell her why she was in a coma. Of course, EJ and Nicole believe a false interpretation of what really happened, one that paints Tate as shamefaced. So, EJ and Nicole will want to re-traumatize Holly. Plus, Holly's recollections could be tainted by what she's told until she actually remembers on her own. DOL Alani returned during the Eli and Lonnie will return to Salem. Unfortunately, it'll be under heartbreaking conditions. Alani will come back to city after Paulina Price's thyroid cancer surgery and heart attack. Days of Our Lives Trip Johnson and Wendy Shin's fate. Days of Our Lives reveal that Trip and Wendy will continue to be held hostage. While in prison, Wendy has a full-bloated fear attack. Meanwhile, Ava and Stefan DiMera get an update about the hijacking victims. Trip and Wendy will probably have a good outgrowth in this story, but at what cost? DOL suckers can also anticipate Marlena Evans to interrogate Everett Lynch in front of Stephanie Johnson. Everett tells Chad DiMera about Bobby Stein. Latterly, Chad comforts Stephanie over Everett's deception. Plus, Alex Kyriakis and Kristen DiMera share updates on Brady Black and Teresa Donovan. Tate gets out of recovery and returns to Salem, but he wouldn't be staying with family. Rather, Tate moves into a halfway house. After Tate moves into the Salem halfway house, Brady and Teresa try to repair their relationship with the teen. Also, Clyde Weston orders Stefan to finish off Harris Michaels, Steve Burton. Away, Steve eventually admits the verity to Constantine. Shady meeting, innocence questioned, time for answers. Days of Our Lives suggests some stunners that are about to drop in the land of Salem. One person heads to the captivity for a shady meeting, while someone's innocence is questioned, and a villain is about to reveal all. What kind of drama is set to unfold during Friday's show? Time to dive right in. Days of Our Lives Stefan DiMera heads out for a shady meeting. Days allude that Stefan DiMera will be summoned for a shady meeting at the captivity by Clyde Weston, James Reed. Days of Our Lives spoilers Friday, February 23 shady meeting, innocence questioned, time for answers. There's commodity veritably off about the way Stefan has been acting since Harris Michaels, Steve Burton, was shot. What exactly does Clyde need to talk to DiMera about? Could it be that Stefan is more involved in this than he's letting on? Speaking of Harris, while he's still unconscious, Ava Vitali, Tamara Braun, will be by his sanitarium bedside, brooding words of love. Will he wake up to hear them anytime soon? Day spoilers, Xander Cook's innocence across city. DOL spoilers for Friday, February 23 indicate that while Ray Fernandez, Galen Gehring, will question Xander Cook's, Paul Telfer, innocence. Also read, Days of Our Lives star Deidre Hall opens up about John's history as the pawn. The good news is that both Sarah Horton, Lindsay Godfrey, and Justin Kyriakis, Wally Kurth, will believe him and be in his corner. It's nice that Xand has people who don't doubt or question him, especially when one of those individualities happens to be the love of his life. Days of Our Lives spoilers, Constantine Melianis will give some answers incipiently. Days spoilers for Friday's show indicate that Constantine Melianis, John Capellos, and Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols, will have a battle. Sounds like it'll get rather heated, as run sways between these two have gotten in the history, and added teasers note the Greek man will tell Steve that he's ready to give some answers.